Do you feel like you need to set a reset button on your life? Are you looking around wondering, how did I get here? This is not what I intended, and I want something much better. Well, the woman you're about to meet tonight is going to help you figure that out. Her name is Monica Marie Jones, and she is a mindset coach who specializes in helping women transform their lives from the inside out. Welcome to the Goddess Power Show with Elizabeth Ann Atkins. I'm so excited you're here because this show is all about helping you boss up to live bigger, better, and bolder. And Monica Marie Jones is here tonight to help you do just that. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I am so excited to be here with you.
I'm thrilled. You interviewed me on your show years ago, and I'm so happy to see the tremendous work that you're doing to help women figure things out, pivot into their power, and just make some magic happen in their lives. So, Monica, can you tell me how your own personal story gave you that sort of light bulb moment to do what you do now?
Absolutely. So I think about, trying to do all the right things growing up, getting the degree. And then somewhere in my 30s, I just had this moment of like, what is my life? I was not living where I wanted to live. I
Uh-huh.
I think my car was down, my transportation was down. I was living with rodents.
Oh my God.
Real, right? Like there was a big abandoned building next to the home that I lived in. And I just was like, what is happening? So I had that moment. It's kind of like how people say they hit rock bottom or they're in this dark time and there is just this awakening like I have to do something different. I know I was meant for so much more, and what is it that's holding me back? So I just started doing a lot of deep personal work, coaching myself, if you will, before I even knew that's what it was. And then
Mhm.
that is where the shift occurred.
Mm, I love it. So, one thing that you've shared with me is that you were doing all kinds of wonderful things, but you lacked focus on that singular thing that could really help you rise. So, how did you determine where to focus and let go of all the other things?
Yeah, so I remember watching a video and the speaker was like, stop trying to do 10 things, real estate, writing books. And I was like, I was that person, acting,
Uh-huh.
dancing, modeling,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
these things. And they were like, focus on one thing first. And then when that thing expands, then you can go and do the other things.
Mhm.
And, when I initially heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, right. I'm talented. I have to do all the things. It was really spreading my energy so thin and in so many directions that nothing was getting high quality.
Mhm.
So I released a lot of things with love. These were things I enjoyed. They were fun, but they were just not moving the needle for me personally, financially. And I said, let me focus on what my magic is right now. And that was training and consulting in the youth development field. And so
Mm.
I literally laser focused on that for like a year, and everything grew. My income grew, my confidence grew, my audience grew because I was giving all of my energy to one thing.
I love that. Beautiful. And then how did that evolve to coaching?
So what I noticed, I was training adults, training other trainers and coaches, and these were all adults who work with young people, so teachers, after school professionals. And what I noticed is that while they were all trying to make life better for young people, they needed that same type of care and attention.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? We spend a lot of time focusing on the whole child and making sure they have what they need. Someone needs
Mhm.
to focus on the whole adult and making sure they have what
Oh,
they need. So I
yeah.
was inspired by those adults who would come to me and say, can we just meet for coffee and talk? And I realized it's like they helped me to create and discover my passion for coaching.
I love that. So, can you talk about what types of services you do and how you work with people? Is it individual? Is it group?
Yeah, so I, have a creative method I designed based on my background in education and youth development and social work. And I do that with people one on one. I have groups. I have a membership community right now. We meet weekly. We have a monthly masterclass and quarterly retreats. And then I also specialize in coaching executives. So a lot of my one on one clients are CEOs or executive directors or business owners who, they're often leading others and coaching others. They need that accountability and support and strategy and planning. So I'm very much like an accountability partner on demand.
Ooh, I love that. It's fascinating that you help women who are already in leadership roles because oftentimes we look to them and think they've got it all together and they don't need help, but they
Yeah.
do because there's always the next level to reach for. So, what are the types of things that you work with when you work with women, Monica? What do you do? How do you evaluate where they are and what they need?
So I created a system that kind of takes people through three phases: reveal, deal, and heal. Because a lot of the
Love
time,
it.
in order to like heal or do the work or set the goals or whatever, we have to see where we've been, where we are, and where we want to go. So I do a lot
Wow.
of really fun and interactive activities that are like a self assessment. What's been working with you? What has not been working? What is on your plate? What do you want to start doing? What do you want to stop doing? And I use that to help women almost create like I call it a strategic soul plan for their life. So you're going to create your
Ooh.
personal core values, your personal mission statement, your personal vision statement, your personal board of directors, almost as if you are a business, but you are creating all of these supports around you so that you can live your best life.
Woohoo. Okay, I love it. I love it. So, personal vision statement, what does that mean?
Yes. So think about the mission statement as the vehicle and the vision statement as your destination. So, your mission is like, what I do now, who I serve, and how I serve them, or what I want their outcome to be. And then the vision is like, it is finished. So for example, my vision is a world where women are healed so that they are healing their families and their communities. But the vehicle or the mission to get me there is, to inspire women to design a life they love through coaching support. So
Ooh,
yeah,
I
it's
love
like
that.
like Microsoft said years ago when they started, a computer on every desk. That was their vision. It
Mm.
has happened,
Uh-huh.
right? So it's what you want
Uh-huh.
to see in the future.
Ooh, wow. And core values, that's a term we hear all. What does that mean as an individual working with you?
Oh, I love this because values, think of them as your filter. It's how you make hard decisions. It's how you know if your work, your relationships, your activities are in alignment with who you are at your core. So for example, mine are connection, learning, and creativity. So somebody may come to me and be like, I'm going to give you $1 million to do this thing. But if it's not in alignment with my core values, I have to say no because it's going to lead me down a path of misery or trouble or, something
Uh-huh.
because it's not aligned
Yeah.
with who I am at my core. So it helps us to know what to say yes to and what to, pass on or release with love.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of the importance of the people you surround yourself with, can you talk about how you help women with that?
Absolutely. One part of my heal phase, that's all about like sustaining and maintaining the work you've done, is what I call curating your community. So I literally
Wait. Curating your community. Okay, okay.
I have a series of activities and workshops, but one of my favorite is where I literally have people write down the 5 people they spend the most time with. Next to that, write those people's yearly income, add it up and divide it by 5. And then I say, look at that number and tell me what comes up for you. So it's not to be literal or judgmental of anyone's income, but that number will tell you a lot. You'll either say, wow, that's way more than what I make, or whoa, that's what I made 8 years ago, or these people are bringing me down. And again, no judgment. It's information, it's data to take and make the meaning that you will. And it often is a big aha moment for people in saying, I said I want to be a big leader or business owner, but those are not the people I'm in community with. So it's really about the mindset, the way people think, talk, what they do or don't do. It all has an influence on us. It's all contagious. So what type of energy do you want rubbing off on you?
But how do you make that shift? If you have a best friend, for example, who you realize is bringing you down, they're negative or they have habits that you don't want to engage in anymore. How do you break away? That's really difficult.
It's so hard. So there are two sides to it. And this was a big part of my shift too. I had to release a lot of friends I had a lot of fun with love. That's why I say it. So you reframe it. It's a release with love. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to, break up, but maybe it's not hanging out together every single day, engaging in an activity that you don't feel good about the next day,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And the other part of it is giving yourself time to grieve because that is a loss. Even if
Yes.
you're not spending as much time, maybe you're not talking to that person every day, take the time to grieve the loss of what they did contribute to your life and the times you
Yeah.
did have with them. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be like a negative I'm better or anything. It's just like a different radio station.
Mhm.
You may not hear country music on a hip hop station, but that doesn't mean one is good or bad, one is right or wrong. We're just on different
Mm.
stations right now, and
Mhm.
return
Mhm.
when we want to.
Mhm. Well, these are really wonderful, innovative ways to shift the mind, Monica. So, why is it so challenging for us? Why can't we figure this out by ourselves without a coach?
So I think of it as like, unless you're looking in a mirror, you don't really know what you look like. So, a coach is like a mirror. They help us to see those parts of ourselves that aren't as evident because we're inside of it. We're inside of ourselves. And so, sometimes just by a coach asking you really powerful or thoughtful questions and you hearing yourself talk out loud, you're like, wait a minute, that's the answer. It's already inside
Wow.
of you. You just have someone to facilitate bringing it out of you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So, what are some of the things that you witness when you work with women?
Oh my goodness. So this is really my most proud work doing this work because the changes are a lot of times fast and they're huge. So one of my favorite examples, I just did a video about this the other day. One of my clients was like working a job, but she really loved being a nail artist. That's why my nails are popping today.
Oh,
And
they're beautiful.
and it was like, doing the nails at home, working the job that wasn't necessarily fulfilling. And we just worked step by step to kind of shift the mindset, overcome the fears. And now she has an amazing, she left that job. She's making double or triple what she made doing her salon. She has a nail salon now with a beautiful sign. And at one time, it was just a picture I had her draw on a piece of paper. So for
Wow.
it to be a reality and something for so long she didn't think was possible or near, and to see it within the time we've been working together,
Oh,
it just warms my heart.
wow. That's amazing. But she probably had to get through some fear to step forward because it's like jumping off a cliff if you don't have that plan, that parachute to help you, or the airplane to lift off,
And
to.
that's exactly what it is because sometimes we have a big goal and all we can see is this big, scary goal. And we immediately start worrying about the how and the what. And it's like, nope, first, let's just get clear on the goal. And then once we get clear on the big thing you want, we can break it down into small and manageable chunks. So I
Mm.
remember her saying, well, I found the building, I found the realtor, but the down payment is $3,000. And I was like, well, who are 30 people who will give you 100? Who are 60 people who will give you $50? Write it down. I was like, I'll give you 200 to start. And then she wrote it down and she broke it down and she made the calls and the asks. And most people gave her way more than she thought they would. These are people investing in her dream, and it happened. So sometimes we have to have someone help us break it down to the first small step and to just taking the small steps until we get to where we want to go.
Wow, that is brilliant. And then having the courage, though, to ask, that's a whole nother conversation because some people feel afraid or they're afraid of getting a no answer. So, how do you pump up the volume on people's courage, Monica?
Oh, that's something. I feel like a lot of times the fear is the main thing that holds people back. So again, just okay, so what is the very smallest, least thing you could do to move the needle? If it's not a phone conversation, is it an email? What are all the possibilities and which one can you start with to kind of build that courage over time? So you don't have to
Mhm.
just jump out there. I have a tendency to jump out there.
Uh-huh.
But that's not everyone's way. So it's like
Uh-huh.
okay, what is the safety net? Because a lot of times when we jump, a net appears. I love that quote.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what is just the one thing you can start to build up that courage so you can take the bigger steps along the way?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. What types of tools do you use in your community when you're coaching people? Journaling, meditation, mantras, do you do things like that?
Yeah, so there are a number of things, and I've been getting so creative since everything has been virtual lately. But what I found traditionally, a lot of coaching is like talking and asking questions and listening. But in my study of education and social work, I've realized everyone has different learning styles and learns in different ways. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times I'll use paper and post-it notes and have people draw things and
Uh-huh.
move around and talk in small groups. And now that we're virtual, there are a lot of virtual tools like Jamboard that are, electronic post-it notes.
Uh-huh.
I use art. We use collages. Like you said, I do a 31-day mindset mastery journal prompts. And
Mm-hmm.
all of those things, I customize the experience. So I have people find what works for them in their learning style, and then
Mm-hmm.
they kind of go in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And then do you see transformations on a daily basis, or what happens? Do they call you and say, I just did something I was so scared to do?
I
How does
love
it
I
manifest?
love the calls and the texts. But what's
Uh-huh.
nice is a lot of times, even if it's a laser coaching session, which is like 20 minutes, a lot of times a shift or a breakthrough can happen right in that session. A shift
Ooh.
in thinking, an aha moment, a blind spot that's uncovered.
Uh-huh.
But I love getting those text messages like, oh my
Mm.
God, I got this. I love this. I can't believe this is my life. And
It's
I feel like it's
amazing.
happening to me. I just get to celebrate with women again, designing these lives they love that they never could imagine would have been real. They are
Mhm.
building it.
Wow. Okay, you just said the word design. How do you design a life? What does that mean?
So I think a lot of things were or are over time prescribed for us.
Mhm.
You have to do this, this, and this to be
Mhm.
happy or to be
Mhm.
successful.
Right?
And so I kind of shake that up. I'm like, what
Mhm.
do you really want?
Uh-huh.
What would really make you happy? And
Mhm.
sometimes, as women or whoever, we're scared to say it out loud because I think we fear disappointment or rejection or what other people think. But again, with a partner, with a plan, with a community around you who supports it, you can say, you know what? I don't think I want to work a traditional job. I think I want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to. What's another thing I've seen? Oh gosh, there's so many examples. I think I want to write a book. I think,
Uh-huh.
and maybe I just want to self-publish. Like, so it just
Uh-huh.
helps people reimagine what they've always wanted instead of accepting what the world or parents or whoever told us we should be.
Yes, I love that. That's a major mission of this show. It's also a major mission of my book because I noticed so many women, including myself, you wake up one morning and you're like, what? This is not what I was planning on. How did I get here? And how do I undo this and step forward into the life that I truly desire? Or why haven't I achieved certain dreams yet? What's holding me back? So,
Mhm.
Monica, what are some of the biggest blocks you see that women have?
So the first thing that came to mind, especially when you say what's holding me back, it is our own mental chatter and our own self-talk. For years, I told myself, "Oh, you're just not good with money." And I remember, I think when I was younger, I used to be like, "Oh, you're just not good at math." Well, I told myself that story for so long, I believed it as truth.
Mm.
And I was like, well, wait a minute. Let me just look at my money and look at my responsibilities and plan and think about it. And then the next thing you know, I'm good at money, right? So it's like,
Woo!
stop believing these stories that either were ingrained from someone else or that we've been telling ourselves
Uh-huh.
and say, what if I was good at money? What would that look like?
Oh, yeah.
So that's usually the work. Like our subconscious is so powerful. What we tell ourselves, what we say to ourselves, it can't tell the difference.
Right.
So if we constantly feed ourselves this negativity, it's like, yep, that's true. You are broke or you are whatever you to say to yourself.
Right.
It will happen in reality. So we have
Uh-huh.
to be so mindful of what we feed our mind because
Mhm.
we will create it. So you might as well talk about what you want as if it's
Yes.
already yours.
Yes, absolutely. And changing the language, Monica, can you talk about how important that is, what your self-talk and what you're speaking to the world?
Yeah, so I mean, I remember, I don't know if I read about this or heard it somewhere, but the idea of I can't afford it versus how can I afford it?
Ooh, I love it.
Lately, I've been making some really big, scary investments, and the
Uh-huh.
old me would have been like, "Oh no, I'm going to be poor again. I can't. All of this negativity."
Right.
Now I'm like, it's my creativity. That's one of my core values, creativity. So it's like, okay, if I need to make $10,000 in 2 weeks, what do I need to do? If I need
Uh-huh.
to make 20,000 in a month, like you just again, just like I said with the client with the salon, break it down into steps. Have a strategy, have a plan. Talk to people about your idea, and then it will happen. So you're again shifting from everything that could go wrong. I love not teasing my clients, but saying, okay, now that we're clear on everything that could go wrong, what if it did work out?
Oh.
To happen. Then they're like,
Uh,
oh, what would an ideal situation look like? And I have them talk about it.
uh-huh.
And I had another client the other day say, oh, you had us write this sheet about our ideal day, and that is my life now. Can I do a testimonial? I was like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She put that out there, and then she didn't even think about it again. And she looked up, and that was her life.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, Monica, what is it about working with a coach that is so transformative?
Like I said, it is that okay, so think about when you're talking to a friend. You're going back and forth. Sometimes you're cutting each other off. Sometimes you're thinking about what you want to say next and you really didn't hear what they said. Now imagine someone for 1 hour that is all about you.
Hmm.
You get to talk about you, you get to think about you, they ask you questions about you, and they mostly listen. So they're talking maybe 20% of the time. You're getting to talk and express and think. You have space, you have silence. Imagine what a treat that is. And don't get me wrong, friends are beautiful, family members are beautiful, but they've not been trained to be all about you. It's literally, as a coach, we take ourselves out of it. We are just facilitating your growth and your transformation as a partner, as a guide on the side, and you just get that undivided attention.
Wow, that's amazing. And any investment a person makes in a coach pays immeasurable dividends in the reward of things you can't even measure because your self-esteem, your self-worth, your sense of fulfillment when you do get that ideal day come to life. You can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah.
So,
And like you said earlier, your courage increases. Like
mhm.
sometimes, people that I've worked with are applying for a new job and they're like, oh, it's not really the salary I wanted. I say, ask for more. What? You can't negotiate. Like that's the thing. Really?
Uh-huh.
And they
Uh-huh.
come back, I got 2,000 more. I'm like,
Ah!
you get to do scary things and okay,
And get a good result from it.
and
So, what's one thing, Monica, that you've noticed during the pandemic that has shifted for women, good or bad?
ooh, a couple things. One thing that was really hard early on, especially with my leaders, was they were holding so much space for so many people. So they're worried about paying their employees. They're also worried about their family or their young people who are doing school at home. And so while they were the container for everyone else, they had no one to be the container to hold space for them. And they're
Oh,
so it felt really meaningful to do that work, but I also had to be careful for my own mental and emotional health that I had my coaches and my therapists to hold space for me.
oh,
The other thing I'm seeing shift is this deeper search for meaning.
yes,
Before we could just have a job, we could just be going through the motions, but now with seeing what's happening in the world with the pandemic, with
yes,
racism, with people passing away, we're like, you know what? I need to do something more meaningful. I need to go for
yes,
my purpose.
yes.
And so I feel like again, it increased that courage and people to say, you know what? Let me just go after the thing because nothing is promised, nothing is
No,
guaranteed, nothing
right.
is normal.
No, no,
I have
no.
to go for the life I want.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. Monica, in part of that is self-care, really pampering oneself in mind, body, and spirit. How do you help the women that you coach do that?
Well, one other part that I'm really proud of is in my coaching program, I have brought in other professionals and other coaches. And that to me, to be able to invest in other women to help other women, amazing. And so I bring in mental health professionals. One of my coaches is a licensed therapist, and she's been doing sessions on setting boundaries.
Mm,
And how sometimes we think, oh, it's mean, or I can't say no, but she says, don't, selfish is not a bad word. In order to be able to show up how we want for our children and our
uh-huh.
relationships, we have to take
Right.
care of ourselves. Um,
Right.
Boundaries was a couple weeks ago, and then she just did one on self-preservation. So beyond just the massages and the pedicures, like really thinking about your mental health and what you need, whether it's making those doctor's appointments or taking time alone or taking time to cry, whatever it is that you really need to
Mm-hmm.
preserve your energy to be able to show up for yourself and others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that women are sort of banding together more today?
I think so. My group coaching community, like I said, we come together every week, and I can just see the magic happening there. So that's what I love about coaching. It's not just one on one. You also can be a part of this community with the support of a coach. And I'm seeing them do business transactions and support each other and promote each other's businesses. And that is a lot of times where the magic happens. A lot of my testimonials was like, well, I thought I was just coming for coaching with Monica, but now I also have this community of women who continuously support me. It's almost like family. So, yeah, I think that has been a really powerful part of the process too.
Oh my goodness, this is all so amazing, Monica. So what does it mean to you to boss up, goddess?
Bossing up. Well, first of all, I am in costume today. I wore my
I
caftan because I
oh,
feel like a goddess, and
I
for
love
me,
it. Ah, I love it. I saw the gold. I just love it. You look beautiful, royal.
so that is kind of symbolic of doing the thing you need to do for you to make you feel regal and glorious. And a lot of times that is starting the business, writing the book, going for what you want for a life of your design, not what anyone told you, not what people say you should do, but really tuning into yourself and then following that path. And that is often the one that
Yes.
leads to the abundance we want.
That is it. It. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Monica, I have learned so much from you. Where can people find you so they can work with you?
Yeah, everything is housed in my website at monicamariejones.com. You can find
Mhm.
my social media, all my programs, my free resources. I've got journal prompts and workbooks and all those types of things to just start your journey back to you.
Ooh, start your journey back to you.
Mhm.
So, is your group coaching experience ongoing? Can people join at any time, or is there a start date?
Yeah, it's ongoing. We kicked off this year in January, but the way that the content is, you can kind of come in at any time and just join right in and build community with us. So
Mm,
think maybe like June is a perfect time, mid-year, when we're like, am I doing what I wanted to do in the beginning of the year? What do I want the rest
right.
of my year to look like? So yeah, it is ongoing.
Uh-huh. Excellent. What's one thing you really want women to know right now about how to empower themselves to truly live life to the fullest?
Mm, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are enough. So much is rooted in believing the opposite of those things. We don't charge the rates that our experience and our expertise is worth. We, shy away from opportunities or, speaking up or asking for help. And it's like, nope, you are enough, you are worthy, you are valuable. So you can do the hard things. You deserve it. You deserve it.
You deserve it. You deserve it. You are enough.
Mhm.
Such simple, simple words, but so transformative.
Yep.
Monica, I admire you so much, and I think you're doing amazing things. The women working with you are so fortunate. So, if you're watching right now, Monica Marie Jones clearly is a boss, a goddess, and she's here to help you become that even more so. So, thank you so much for joining me, Monica. Please do keep in touch, and I wish you the absolute best.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I will put the link to your website in the description box so anybody who wants to get in touch with you or learn more can just click away and get to know you and contact you.
Awesome.
So thank you. And thank you, all of you, for joining me tonight here on the Goddess Power Show, where I help women boss up to be the goddesses that we're born to be in mind, body, and spirit, doing positive, powerful things in the world, like Monica Marie Jones. So grateful to have this wonderful time together to showcase her brilliance, her beauty, and the positive impact she's having on the world. So please do click the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment if you'd like, and follow me on Twitter at Elizabeth Atkins. And remember, boss up, goddess. You have the power.